Good morning, all of you. I hope audio and video is working fine. Please confirm those who are online. So today is 17 July and we will continue our current affairs discussion. Okay, so let's start. I hope audio is absolutely fine. So today's news, PM Dhan Krishi Yojna. Second, good morning Manis, good morning Rani, good morning Rajendra. Thank you for the confirmation, Manas. So, first news, PM Dhan Krishi Yojna. Second, first tribal genome project. Third, sexual violence. Fourth, anti-dumping. Clean energy president rule, Javelin missiles. So, let's start. PM Dhan Krishi Yojna. Government merged 36 schemes to float farm program. PM Dhan Krishi Yojna, if you see the timeline of this particular scheme, it was approved by Union Cabinet in July 2025, and in Union Budget 2025 it was launched or it was introduced. If you see the total outlay, it is 24,000 crore per year for 6 years, and it is about to start from 25-26 financial year, covering 100 districts. Okay, district selection criteria, the districts where the productivity is very low, that means low production of agricultural output, low cropping intensity in the sense जदि आपण देखिबे in terms of density जदि आपण कहिबा, or you would say the number of the quantity of plantation or cultivation per land जदि आपण कहिबे, intensity, low credit disbursement, that means the commercial banks or nationalized banks are not accessible for the farmers in terms of loan or subsidized loans. Minimum representation, if you see, one district per state or union territory. Okay, allocation criteria based on net cropped area and operational holdings. Net cropped area in the sense it is somehow similar to the low cropping intensity districts where there is very less amount of cultivation. There this scheme will be implemented, and the operational holding in the sense small and marginal farmers should be given the priority, because as you know, in India particularly 85% of the farmers are small and marginal farmers, and they have this less than 2 hectare of land, and it is something based on the aspirational district program. Jodi apan dekhibe aspirational district program, it's a program which was launched for the 100 districts, and those districts are backward in nature in terms of socio-economic profile, let's say per capita income, let's say the maternal and child health. So in those parameters where the districts are backward, so in those districts this scheme will be implemented. So PM Dhan Krishi Yojna, we're discussing core objectives. First one, boost agricultural productivity. Second, promote sustainable agricultural practices. When we say sustainable agricultural practices, it means specially you would say judicious use of the chemical fertilizers, because if you see the farmers or if you see the use of NPK fertilizer, this is something very high as per the scientific standard. जदि आपण देखिबे NPK रो scientific standard होची 4:2:1, but actually what we are using is 7:3:1. That means nitrogen, that is the fertilizer, chemical fertilizer which is used higher than the scientific way of or scientific use of chemical fertilizer. देवाशीष जो क्वेश्चन आपण पचारे पायलट प्रोजेक्ट और आस्पिरेशनल प्रोजेक्ट रो डिफरेंस कौन aspirational what is aspirationals means the expectation what we call aspirants जेमती आम कहे you are the aspirants for the civil services okay aspirant you want to become a civil servant so aspirational in the sense kind of a model आपणकर mind रे थिबो कि this would be the socio-economic profile for example per capita income would be this sex ratio would be this let's say maternal mortality would be this child mortality ये होची aspirational when we say pilot in the sense कि model basis रे यानी कि आपण गोटे नुआ स्कीम को लॉन्च करबा को चाहूचंदी so first you want to see the outcome that means let's take few districts and there you will implement it on a pilot basis as for the result then you will implement it throughout the or across the country that is what actually we are saying difference between the pilot and aspirational project okay so third is credit access and irrigation support what is this credit access and irrigation support because जदि आपण देखिबे in India almost 48% land they do not have 48% have the irrigation facilities 52% of land in our country do not have irrigation facilities so say jagare how to manage the agricultural activities so first of all irrigation project या irrigation support भी provide करबाको पड़िबो and that to the minor irrigation or what we call the micro irrigation जोटा कि sprinkler drip irrigation etc credit access in the sense mostly we are targeting the institutional credit that means the loan from the commercial banks non-institutional credits are like money lenders and all so non-institutional credits where the interest rate is something higher than the institutional credit and non-institutional credit sources are exploitative in nature as far as farmers point of view so even if we are targeting credit but that must be the institutional one that is from the commercial banks and then the post harvest storage at the panchayat and the block levels if you see the Odisha government as well Odisha government has started an initiative that at the block level they have started construction of the cold storage facilities because जो गुड़िक horticultural products अच्छी vegetables fruits flowers at least they could be saved for the at the block level so that farmers can sell it at a later at a higher price ଯେମିତି distress sale ରୁ जो भली भाବରେ ସେମାନଙ୍କୁ ସେ ସାଇକେଲ ରୁ ବାହାର କରିପାରେ this is what why the farmers are trying to have ସେମାନେ ଷ୍ଟୋର୍ କରିବେ and then later ପାର୍ଟରେ ବିକିବେ କାରଣ immediately ଯେତେବେଳେ cultivation ହେଇଥାଏ या harvest ହେଇଯାଏ if you do not have the storage capacity then you have to sell it immediately and this is at a very less price तेणु पंचायत लेवल हो ब्लॉक लेवल हो वी आर स्टार्टिंग दिस पोस्ट हार्वेस्ट स्टोरेज और व्हाट वी कॉल द पोस्ट प्रोडक्शन मैनेजमेंट सिमिलरली व्हाट वी वांट स्ट्रेंथनिंग द कन्वर्जेंस ऑफ सेंटर स्टेट एंड प्राइवेट सेक्टर एफर्ट्स इन द एग्रीकल्चर center state in the sense that both the government center and state they will invest or they will give the priorities in terms of agricultural market infrastructure agricultural let's say irrigation infrastructure and participation of the private sector if you see private sector participation कोठु आसे ना गोटे contract farming गोटे concept आपण दि जानिथिबे that means private sector would have a contract with the farmer before the harvesting season regarding a certain quality and quantity of the product for example जेमती ITC आपण जानिथिबे it produces potato chips suppose गोटे potato farmer अछि तांगो सहित समान गोटे डील कले कि after this particular season a certain type of or a quality potato will be purchased from that farmer and सेति की quantity रो समान decide करनेला and they fix the price तो after harvesting so setaku bikibo so this is something kind of an insurance for the farmer because before the harvesting farmer knows कि this would be the quality and this much amount will be produced and यार buyer भी already I have decided तो जो initial जो capital investment भी उठा ऐसे farmer side because it boosts the farmers confidence as well okay moving to the next merger of the scheme जब देखिए 36 scheme across 11 union ministries departments merged into this umbrella program enables policy convergence reduction in duplication and improves targeted delivery. That means many instances are there due to overlapping projects gudiko achi. So in overlapping projects money is being spent, so better to converge it, and on the one scheme banner, and the one scheme all the money will be spent, so rationalizing the schemes. Okay, because multiple schemes with the not very qualitative outcome, तो ସେଇଥିପାଇଁ 36 such schemes को merge कर दिया जाइए. Okay, strategic focus area जमती आमे discuss कलु post harvest infrastructure, cold chain, godown, rural agri logistics in the sense कि better road transportation. Let me give you one example. Agro market या mandi you will see in the district headquarter. Now we have started mandis or agricultural market in the panchayat level as well, gramin level as well, under the gram आपण जानथिबे जोटा कमे gramin agricultural market बोली कहूचे, GRAM, gram. So this has been decentralized the procurement process from the district headquarter to the panchayat level. The government and the private trader can purchase those products from the farmers. This is one part. Second part would be E-NAM जो हमारा होची, Electronic National Agricultural Market, that is what you call the One Nation One Market. In that scheme also you will find that a farmer from UP or Odisha can sell its product in the Kerala or Tamil Nadu. This is possible through this e-agricultural market as well. Irrigation expansion, obviously watershed management, watershed development, micro irrigation, that is a drip irrigation, and the second would be the sprinkler irrigation. Jaharo efficiency, it increases the water efficiency and sustainable use of the water. Third would be the credit linkage. Credit linkage in the sense better access to the short term and long term credit at a very subsidized rate, which will not be a burden on the farmer. Technology and sustainability, digital tools, climate resilient practices, agricultural extension. This would be the major focus area. Technology जदि आपण देखिबे simply use of machine, कारण प्रॉब्लम कौन हुए मशीन अफोर्डेबिलिटी को नहीं. तो व्हाट गवर्नमेंट हैज डिसाइडेड, जमती बर्तमान कस्टमर हायरिंग सेंटर्स गुड़िक ओपन कराई डिस्ट्रिक्ट लेवल. फ्रॉम देयर दिस फार्मर्स कैन हायर द मशीन्स बाय पेइंग द रेंट देके से मशीन्स को नहीं पारे. सो दिस इज व्हाट एक्चुअली गवर्नमेंट इज डूइंग. प्लस क्लाइमेट रेजिलिएंट प्रैक्टिसेस, फॉर एग्जांपल ड्राईलैंड फार्मिंग ऑफ द आपनकर मिलेट्स होची, ये सब जिनस गुड़ी को फोकस करा जाउची इन दिस पर्टिकुलर स्कीम. मूविंग टू द नेक्स्ट टॉपिक, फर्स्ट ट्राइबल जेनोम प्रोजेक्ट देखिबा. India's first tribal genome project, Gujarat has become the first state in India to launch a genome sequencing initiative focused exclusively on the tribal communities. Key highlights: project name, creation of reference genome database for the tribal population in Gujarat. Okay, genome database for the tribal population. तो tribal population जो मैंने गुजरात रे होचंदी सेमानक पई खास करके गोटे genome sequencing database सरकार को तरफ क्रिएट करा जाउची. अनाउंस बाय द ट्राइबल डेवलपमेंट मिनिस्टर कुबेर डिंडोर. ओके, इम्प्लीमेंटिंग एजेंसी गुजरात बायोटेक्नोलॉजी रिसर्च सेंटर, GBRC, गुजरात बायोटेक्नोलॉजी रिसर्च सेंटर, and covers 2,000 individuals, 17 tribal dominated districts in Gujarat. Okay, 17 tribal dominated districts in Gujarat. Next, objectives. The first one is the genetic health risk, because गोटे जो आपनकर सिकल सेल डिजीज अच्छी, एंड देर आर डिजीजेस जो गुड़िक ट्राइबल्स मैंने अफेक्ट हुआ. सो फर्स्ट वी नीड टू आइडेंटिफाई दैट जेनेटिक हेल्थ रिस्क. सेकेंड इज द एनेबल प्रिसीजन हेल्थ केयर. दैट मीन्स once you identify the problem, then you can work on the rectification of the problem, or you can develop medicines and all those preventive health care actually. यदि health care को एबे देखिबे आपण, although Ayushman Bharat has been merged with the जमती ओडिशा रे गोपबंधु योजना जो चली थी, but initially or in the earlier phase healthcare system was more of a curative system. That means once you will be I mean you are unhealthy or you are affected by a disease, suffering from a disease, then you will be hospitalized and treatment will be given. Now apart from this post healthcare or post disease healthcare, we are also focusing on the preventive through this Ayush scheme and all. So Ayurveda, yoga, Unani. So preventive is another major. So exactly, first we need to study the tribal genome, this sequencing or this health risk, and then early detection, or if possible the prevention as well. Create a reference genome database to support personalized medicine for the marginalized population. So reference genome database also we are focusing, so that those are marginal population or very minority group. For them we can have those medicines and healthcare facilities. Expected benefits, if you see, better targeting of health interventions in tribal belts, scientific insights into disease like sickle cell anemia. Okay, this is what I was talking about: sickle cell anemia and thalassemia, metabolic disorder, immunity related issues. Okay, similarly, inform policy formulation for the tribal health and nutrition, because this is very crucial as far as intervention in the healthcare facilities in the tribal areas, because tribals are mostly guided by their traditional health or traditional what you call the healthcare facilities. And so easily they cannot have trust on the allopathic or modern day medicines or healthcare facilities. They generally depend on their own से जो natural से जो जिनके ऊपर से depend करें. So we need to shift from that. We need a transformation. So first to identify those problems, and then we have to take them confidence कि modern kind of medicines or healthcare facilities would be for the betterment of your life. Equity in genomics by including underrepresented communities. So there are communities which is very small group in nature, so for them also we need to have this genomics or study of genome and all. Significance: first state level project in India focus exclusively on the indigenous genomes. State level project, and for the first time tribal genome project जदि आपण देखिबे सेटा गुजरात रे ही स्टार्ट होची. Complements national initiative like the Genome India project, but with a localized precision, in the sense the local tribal communities, they will be taken into consideration before or under this study. And public health planning, so it will have a better public health planning. Moving to the next topic, sexual violence, safe havens no more, as it is related to the Odisha news only, Balasore Fakir Mohan College. The alarming rise in sexual harassment and violence within workplace and educational institutions spaces, once presumed to be safe, secure and empowering, has become a matter of national concern. These incidents reflect deep-seated issues related to power imbalance. Power imbalance in the sense, basically जदि आपण देखिबे this generally माने जदि एटा जो न्यूज़ टी आमे देखुचे वर्तमान जदि आपणकर नॉर्थ बेल्ट रही था, आई डू नॉट नो एक्जाक्टली द कास्ट फ्रॉम विच दिस गर्ल इज बिलोंग टू, बट जदि आप नॉर्थ इंडिया रे देखी था मस्ट बी द कास्ट कलर आसी था. ऑब्वियसली कम्युनल कलर रहिबो नाही, कारण बोथ टीचर एंड द स्टूडेंट आर फ्रॉम वन रिलीजन, तेणु से कम्युनल कलर तो नहीं, बट कुड बी ए कास्ट कलर. तो ये जिनसे हमें मोस्टली द नॉर्दर्न इंडिया हो कि सदर्न इंडिया हो, खास करके जनरली इट इज परसीव दैट इन सदर्न इंडिया यू वोंट फाइंड द कास्ट equation, but yes, it is there in the southern India. You will find in the southern India also, you will find more numbers of honor killing. Honor killing जो social issues amar achi, and what is the main reason behind the honor killing? Because of this caste, okay, caste differences. Because sometimes we have seen ଏବେ ଓଡ଼ିଶାରେ ବି ଆପଣ ଦେଖିଥିବେ ଗୋଟେ कंगारू कोर्ट थिला आपणकर. कंगारू कोर्ट कौन कला, व्हेन ए कपल एलोप्ड, यानी कि से गाँ छाड़ी पलई थे, एंड 2 days after 2 days they came back and they said they have already married, but the whole village could not accept that. So first they decided to give them punishment. तो से माने कौन गले तंकु से जो हमारा जो ट्रेडिशनल वे ऑफ जो हड़ करेवा जो नहीं प्लाउ से बांधिकी से फर्स्ट से हड़ करेवा टाइप से पनिशमेंट दिगला, एंड देन इट वाज डिसाइडेड लेट्स एक्सेप्ट देम. सो in every place you will find the existence of this power imbalance in terms of caste. Okay, higher caste and lower caste को लेके power imbalances अच्छी, gender inequality is prevailing in every aspect in our society, failure of the institutional mechanism. This sexual harassment at workplace, which is mandatory under the Sexual Harassment at Workplace as per 2013 Act, has not been implemented. ଆପଣ ଗୋଟେ video ବି କରିଥିଲେ, ଆପଣ ଦେଖିଥିବେ. Just when this incident happened, within 24 hours, government has given the instruction to every institution to form this particular internal complaint committee as per this law. ତେଣୁ ସେ law କହୁଛି ପ୍ରତି ସଂସ୍ଥାରେ ଗୋଟେ ଗୋଟେ internal complaint committee ରହିବା କଥା, ICC what we call, but it was not there neither in the government institutions nor in the private institutions. Okay, let's see. Legal and institutional safeguard. If you see the workplaces, Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace Prevention, Prohibition and Redressal Act 2030. Okay, mandates internal complaints committee, that is the जो आपनकर आपन देखिए जो पोस्ट एक्ट भी अच्छी, आपनकर जो गोटे जानिथिबे पोक्सो एक्ट भी अच्छी, जमती चाइल्ड मानक पई भी अच्छी. So multiple such acts are there, but the point is the intention behind the implementation of this act. Okay, intention behind the implementation of this act. तो ये जो पोस्ट एक्ट होची, पोस्ट पॉलिसी या पोस्ट एक्ट होची protecting the women from the sexual harassment, सेटा को पोस्ट एक्ट भी कहा जाउची, प्लस आपनकर sexual harassment of women at workplace भी कहा जाउची. So this act mandates कोन ना प्रति संस्था रे गोटे गोटे internal complaints committee हवा दरकार. Internal complaints committee हवा दरकार. Applies both organized and unorganized by private and public sector. Okay, yet many ICCs are non-functional or exist only on paper. And another provision is कि प्रति इंस्टीट्यूट रे those details of those members, details in the sense कि name, contact, that will be mentioned in the strategic locations. Suppose जमते notice board रे mention थिवा दरकार कि other departmental जो office थिवा सेठी भी mention हवा दरकार, so that easy access to those numbers or easy accessibility with respect to the contact of those ICC members. Okay, then educational institutions, if you see University Grants Commission Guidelines 2015 for higher education institutions. So as per the law, UGC guidelines भी अच्छी कि this is a mandatory provision. Mandatory formation of gender sensitization committees against sexual harassment, what we call the GSCAS. Let me give you one example. यदि अपनो JNU Jawaharlal Nehru University in Delhi, and in fact in every university there is a GSCAS committee, but the point is with respect to sensitization, आपण दी गोटे मेल गोटे फीमेल को staring for I think more than certain second, so से फीमेल टी GSCAS अंडर है से मेल नारे केस भी करी पारे, यानी कि कंप्लेन करी पारे. So sensitization almost depends on the awareness, on proactiveness of the members or the institutions itself. तो सही पे कहा जाउची institutional failure is one such mechanism जो केस रे हमें बालेश्वर केस रे भी देखी छे. However, poor compliance especially in the state run and rural colleges ई गुड़िको से गुड़िको follow करूना. In fact, central universities and those national level institutions, IIT, NIT, all those, they are following such provisions. But जो गुड़िका जिमती हमें autonomous college देखिले, other such state level रे, local level रे से माने इटा को strictly follow करूना आंधी. Ground reality, if you see, under reporting is rampant due to fear of retaliation. ही पारे student को suspend कर दिया जाए पारे, job रू बाहर कर दिया जाए पारे. It's a social stigma that someone has been affected by the sexual harassment. Character assassination must be it was girl's fault. कारण ये FM case रे अपन देखिए दीटा narrative चली. One narrative from the student point of view, she has been asked for the sexual favor or sexual harassment, but the other narrative was the teacher was very strict, and due to low attendance of that student, she was not allowed to appear for the exam. That is the reason she was blaming or putting this blame on the teacher. So two narratives were there. So say case रे भी हमको देखिबा को मिलुची कि character assassination is one factor, and institutional apathy, in the sense institutional is so lethargic or lazy, they do not want to take such steps. although they are listening these cases, or they are simply aware about the cases but not taking any proactive action. Victims often face social ostracism. Victims ଆପଣ ଦେଖନ୍ତୁ ମିଡ଼ିଆ ଟ୍ରାଏଲ୍ ବି କିଛି ଚାଲିଥିଲା, ଆପଣ ଦେଖନ୍ତୁ ସିମ୍ପଲି ଆଇ ମିନ୍ ଯେମିତି ଏବେ ଦେଖିବେ ସେ ଝିଅର ଯେଉଁ ଫିମେଲ୍ ଯେଉଁ ଷ୍ଟୁଡେଣ୍ଟଟି ଥିଲେ ତାଙ୍କର ଫଟୋଜ୍ କାଫି ଭାଇରାଲ୍ ହେଉଛି ସୋସିଆଲ ମିଡ଼ିଆ ଆକ୍ଟିଭିଜମ୍ ଫଟୋ which is media ethics violation କରୁଛି, but still no one is taking or no one is ready to ask this question. I mean, in fact government is not asking this question because जो channels गुड़िक देखुचन they are the part of the government, कोड ना कोड से politician से government रही से चल, तो no one is asking these questions. Academic and professional backlash as well, and threats to safety. High profile institutions and corporations have been implicated, showing the systematic nature of the issue. So some corporates offices, they are following this mechanism. Root causes: patriarchal mindset and normalization of misogyny. Patriarchal mindset in the sense ଯେମିତି ଏବେ ପାୱାର ଇମ୍ବାଲାନ୍ସ ବିଷୟରେ କହୁଥିଲେ, ମୁଁ କାଷ୍ଟର ଆଙ୍ଗେଲ୍ ନେଇକି ଆସିଲି. ପାୱାର ଇମ୍ବାଲାନ୍ସ ୱିଥ୍ ରେସ୍ପେକ୍ଟ ଟୁ ଦ ମେଲ୍ ଆଣ୍ଡ ଫିମେଲ୍. କାରଣ ସପୋଜ୍ ଯେଉଁ ଆମେ ଏଥିକ୍ସରେ ପଢ଼ୁଛୁ ନା, ଦ कंडीशन जोटा में होची हमर सोशल कंडीशन होची मेल मस्ट डोमिनेट इन द फैमिली. सो मेल मस्ट डोमिनेट इन द सोसाइटी. दिस हैज बीन सोशल कंडीशन. अपन देखिए, इफ यू सी द पैट्रियार्कल सोसाइटी एंड पैट्रियार्कल फैमिली, यू विल फाइंड कि मेल मन को प्रायोरिटीज एंड प्रेफरेंस दिया जाए देन द फीमेल. सो दिस काइंड ऑफ माइंडसेट वुड बी देयर इन द वर्क प्लेस एज वेल. इफ वन लेडी और द वुमेन विल बी द बॉस, then definitely जो मैंने सबऑर्डिनेट ऑफिसर्स मैंने अच्छे दे डू नॉट कंप्लाई दोज ऑर्डर्स. अपन देखी थी बहुत केस रे हुए कि समाने मैडम करो ऑर्डर को मानती ना. दिस इज व्हाट पैट्रियार्कल माइंडसेट इज ऑल अबाउट, एंड नॉर्मलाइजेशन मिसोजिनी. सो मिसोजिनिस्ट जोटा आम कहे कि फीमेल के प्रति जो रेस्पेक्ट या एटीट्यूड रहा कथा, दिस इज प्योरली नेगेटिव इन नेचर. Power asymmetry, this is what faculty seniors and student junior, most of the cases अपन देखिए sexual harassment with respect to senior and junior भी हुए, से जगह रे भी power asymmetry is one such factor also plays a greater role. Lack of gender sensitization and inclusive workspaces. How to behave in a workplace where the females are working, this is one part something, although this is part of another social conditioning, because family is such an institution which must teach or preach or must give the training to their children. In fact कि गोटे जड़े फैमिली रू ही शिखिकी जीव हाउ टू सेंसिटाइज टुवर्ड्स द वुमेन एंड हाउ टू बिहेव इन ए प्रॉपर मैनर वेयर द वुमेन आर वर्किंग इन ए पर्टिकुलर प्लेस. Inadequate redressal and lack of transparency in grievance mechanism. So lack of transparency in the sense, suppose good a male candidate ochandi, so obviously the whole system was favoring the male, and if you see whole faculty members are favoring the teacher fraternity, because after all fraternity matters, okay, or some kind of political pressure would be there on the faculties or whole faculty members. तो ये भी देखिए को मिले. तो lack of transparency one factor. Culture of silencing dissent and survivor. तो स्टूडेंट को क्वेश्चन रेज करिबार कौनसी अधिकार नहीं. वी हैव लर्नड इन फ्रॉम आवर ट्रेडिशनल काइंड ऑफ जो स्टूडेंट टीचर जो रिलेशन अच्छे ना, आम एटा शिखिक आसीचु. नो स्टूडेंट कैन रेज एनी क्वेश्चन. सो दिस इज व्हाट वी हैव, कल्चर ऑफ साइलेंसिंग डिसेंट एंड सर्वाइवर्स. मूविंग टू द नेक्स्ट, एंटी डंपिंग. ओके, एंटी डंपिंग कौन पे देखिबा चलंतु. Anti-dumping is related to government clamping down on dumping import surges. So, chalo, new anti-dumping duties on machinery. Let me tell you what is anti-dumping or dumping kono, anti-dumping kono. First one is dumping. Okay, first dumping. Dumping means, for example, suppose China re got a product pro price huchi 100 rupees, but China exporting that product to India at rupees 80. That means in Indian market, the price which is sold is less than the price in China. That means in China the price is 100 rupees, in India the price is 80 rupees. That means lesser than the Chinese price. This is what dumping. डंपिंग यार्ड आम कहूना अलिया कूड़ा गदा जोटा आम अलिया गदा कहे तो एक्जाक्टली द सेम थिंग एंटी डंपिंग मीन्स दैट मीन्स ये जो इंपोर्ट सर्च होची ये जो डंपिंग होची इंडिया रे ताकू काउंटर करबा पई वी आर इंपोर्टिंग ड्यूटी दैट इज नोन एज द एंटी डंपिंग सो व्हाट इज ड्यूटी दैट मीन्स सपोज 80 रुपीज प्रोडक्ट बिक्री होची या इंपोर्ट होची इंडिया को सो गवर्नमेंट डिसाइडेड वी विल इम्पोज ये 50% ड्यूटी ऑन दिस प्रोडक्ट 50% मीन्स 80% plus or 80 rupees plus 40 rupees that is a 120 rupees which is higher than the Chinese price or higher than the existing price. So obviously when anti-dumping duty will be imposed the price of the product will rise तेणु तार इम्पोर्ट धीरे धीरे कमी जाए तेणु से एंटी डंपिंग ड्यूटी को यूज कौन पाई करा जाए इंपोर्ट को कम करने कहीं इंपोर्ट को कम करा जाए इफ the Chinese product and other countries product will be flooded in your market तेणु आपणकर जो इंडस्ट्रीज गुड़िक अच्छा सेम प्रोडक्ट गुड़िक प्रोड्यूस करूँ सो व्हाट अबाउट देम से मैंने कौन करेंगे इट्स डिफिकल्ट फॉर देम टू सर्वाइव इन द मार्केट सो से आम कौन करुचे एंटी डंपिंग ड्यूटीज इम्पोज करुचे सो इंडिया हैज इम्पोज 27 to 63% एंटी डंपिंग ड्यूटीज ऑन द प्लास्टिक प्रोसेसिंग एंड इंजेक्शन मोल्डिंग machines imported from the China and Taiwan effective for 5 years to shield domestic manufacturing from unfairly low priced import तेणु ताइवान एवं चाइना ये प्रोडक्ट गुड़िक काफ़ी से चीपर प्राइस रे ही एक्सपोर्ट करूँ टू प्रोटेक्ट आवर ओन इंडिजिनस इंडस्ट्रीज आवर ओन इंडस्ट्रीज आम कौन करुचे इंपोर्ट ड्यूटी ताऊपर इम्पोज करुचे दिस एक्शन वाज टेकन फॉलोइंग ए DGTR इन्वेस्टिगेशन कन्फर्मिंग मटेरियल इंजुरी टू इंडियन प्रोड्यूसर ओके DGTR इन्वेस्टिगेशन इन द सेंस कि जोटा आपनकर अछि डायरेक्टर जनरल ऑफ ट्रेड रेमेडीज डायरेक्टर जनरल ऑफ ट्रेड रेमेडीज मीन्स जे आपनकर जो ट्रेड आपनकर ये जो केमती काउंटर करवा सस्ता इंपोर्ट को ये सब विषय से इंस्ट्रक्शन दियंती गवर्नमेंट को ओके chemical sector safeguarding anti-dumping duties were recently imposed at least 6 chemical intermediates including acetonitrile vitamin A palmitate peda insoluble sulfur potassium tertiary vuctoside and decor paper from China, Russia, Taiwan, Japan and European Union. So ये countries रू जो easy and cheaper price रे chemical गुड़ी को import करा जाऊथला ता ऊपर भी हमें impose करूचे duties. The duties ranges from $481 to $1710 per ton lasting up to 5 years. Now metals, glass and ferrite controls. China origin aluminum foil, vacuum insulated flask, soft ferrite cores and trichloro isocyanuric acid have also attracted duties of 35%. तो ये जो products गुड़ी को भी almost 35% import duty ता ऊपर impose करा जाऊँगी. Broader strategy and context यदि अपन देखिए between the financial year 19 to 24 China India import surged from $17 billion to $101 billion यानी कि simply India is facing a trade deficit with respect to China. That means India is importing more products from China as far as its export to China. तेणु आमे कौन करूचे सिर्फ एंटी डंपिंग ड्यूटीज इंटरवीन करूचे टू रेक्टिफाई द ट्रेड डेफिसिट. ओके Domestic industry dependence on Chinese imports rose sharply with India's trade deficit with China reaching nearly $99.2 billion in 24-25. Implications कौन देखिबा यानी कि significance कौन ना strategic response to import surges. Import surges means import जो बढ़ी चली ताकू काउंटर करिबा पे एवं निजरो लोकल इंडस्ट्रीज को लोकल मैन्युफैक्चरिंग यूनिट्स को प्रोटेक्ट करिबा पे. Anti-dumping duties, if you see, endorsed under WTO rules, serve to level the playing field without violating the trade commitments. What is this level playing field in the sense? Dumping कौन करूची तार product price to या domestic product price to भी कम सस्ता रे बिकुची. Obviously, people will prefer more of cheaper products. So by the imposing anti-dumping duty, what we are doing, we are making the price equal with respect to यानी कि इंडिया रे जो इंडियन प्रोडक्ट जो प्राइस रे बिक्री होची चाइनीज प्रोडक्ट ही सेम प्राइस रे बिक्री हो, right? So that means we are not discriminating, rather we are making a level playing field which do not violate the trade commitments in the WTO. The crackdown alliance with the Atmanirbhar Bharat यानी कि सेल्फ रिलायंस आत्मनिर्भर भारत रे आमे कोन करूचे हमरो ओन इंडिजिनस इंडस्ट्रीज को सपोर्ट करूचे. मूविंग टू द क्लीन एनर्जी, शेयर ऑफ क्लीन एनर्जी इन इलेक्ट्रिसिटी still below 30%, while clean energy now accounts for nearly 50% of India's installed power capacity, its actual share in electricity generation remain below 30%. जदि आमे कैपेसिटी इंस्टॉल करिचे 50% रो, बट एक्चुअली से केते प्रोड्यूस करूचंदी 30% रो. द कैपेसिटी यूटिलाइजेशन फैक्टर एट प्लांट लोड फैक्टर यार माने कोण ना ये एक्चुअली कैपेसिटी केते अछि एंड हाउ मच एक्चुअली इट इज प्रोड्यूसिंग. ओके, जमती सिंपल जिनस होची गोटे स्टूडेंट रो कैपेसिटी होची 80% रो, बट स्टूडेंट इज सिक्योरिंग मार्क्स 65%, दैट मीन्स 15% एफिशिएंट ऑफ इट्स कैपेसिटी. तो एक्जाक्टली सेम हमर अछि. तो आमे कैपेसिटी अनुसार केते लो कैपेसिटी रन करूचे देखिबा. कोल देखिबे 55 to 60% एवरेज, हाइड्रो होची 30 to 40%, विंड होची 20 to 25%, सोलर होची 15 to 20%. ओके, so solar and wind have much lower COF compared to the coal or gas, but गोटे जिनस होची लेसर कैपेसिटी अच्छी यानी कि कैपेसिटी जो डेफिशिएंसी अच्छी which is less than the coal and hydro. Okay, now challenges. What are the challenges? Why this India is lagging behind? Intermittency. Solar works only during daytime, wind depends on weather. Absolutely correct. तो सोलर कौन करूची डे टाइम रे ही काम करिवो, विंड वेदर. स्टोरेज गैप्स, बैटरी एंड पम्प्ड हाइड्रो स्टोरेज सॉल्यूशंस आर स्टिल अंडर डेवलप्ड और एक्सपेंसिव. तो ये जो इलेक्ट्रिसिटी जनरेशन सोलर रो होची कि विंड होची ताको हमें स्टोर करि पारुची कि दिस इज वन चैलेंज. ग्रिड इनफ्लेक्सिबिलिटी. इंडियाज पावर ग्रिड लैक्स द डायनामिक रिस्पांस needed for integrating fluctuating renewables. ओके, ग्रिड इनफ्लेक्सिबिलिटी यानी कि जो मॉडर्न फॉर्म ऑफ इलेक्ट्रिसिटी जनरेशन ताको हमें ग्रिड रे जो एक्जिस्टिंग ग्रिड अच्छी ताको हमें इंटीग्रेट करि पारिनो. ट्रांसमिशनल बॉटलनेक्स. रिन्यूएबल रिच स्टेट्स ऑफन लैक एडिक्वेट ट्रांसमिशन इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर. ओके, नेक्स्ट देखिबा प्रेसिडेंट रूल. मणिपुर गेट्स न्यू चीफ सेक्रेटरी. President's rule may be extended in the state. The appointment committee of the cabinet has appointed Dr. Puneet Kumar Goel, this 1991 batch Agmut cadre IAS officer, as the new chief secretary of Manipur. President rule imposed since February 13, 2025 followed the resignation of the Chief Minister N. Biren Singh amid prolonged ethnic violence between the Meitei and Kuki communities. Manipur remains under direct center control by a Governor Ajay Kumar Bhalla, with all administrative authority centralized and legislative assembly in suspended animation. जेहेतु प्रेसिडेंट रूल लागू अच्छी तेणु लेजिस्लेटिव असेंबली सस्पेंडेड एनिमेशन रे अच्छी एंड एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव काम किए करछन गवर्नर करछन. ओके, प्रेसिडेंट रूल कोन देखिबा. फर्स्ट, प्रेसिडेंट रूल इज इम्पोज्ड इन इंडियन स्टेट अंडर आर्टिकल 356. हमर तीनटा इमरजेंसी अच्छी, आई थिंक यू नो, 352, 356 and 360. 352 is the national emergency. Okay, whole country or any part of the country emergency impose करा जाई पारे. 356 that is कहा जाए कि प्रेसिडेंट रूल जोटा कि स्टेट केस रे इमरजेंसी हुए गोटे राज्य केस रे, and the third one is the financial emergency as per the 360. So this is president rule or article 356 of the constitution, where the state government fails to function according to the constitutional provisions. Constitutional basis देखिबा, invoked when the president on the report of the governor, this is important, on the report of the governor is convinced that a state cannot be governed according to the constitution. So again, there must be a satisfaction of the president. Only recommendation by the governor is not sufficient or enough. If the governor recommend koruchandi, the president if satisfied, then it will be implemented. Allows union government to take direct control over the state machinery. So through governor, the union government will take the control of the machinery in the state. Legislative assembly is either suspended or dissolved. Data केसरू किछि भी पारे. So not necessarily कि से dissolve है जो. So it can be suspended. Suspended in the sense all the members will be there, council of ministers will be there, but they can't work, they do not have any power. The governor administers the state on the behalf of the president with the help of the central advisor or the civil servants. Okay, so on behalf of the president, governor he rule karibe. Duration देखो initial period 6 months can be extended every 6 months up to maximum of 3 years, and obviously every 6 months ଯେତେବେଳେ ଆପଣ तो extend करिवे you need parliament approval. Okay, after 1 year extension beyond that is possible only if a national emergency is in operation or if the election commission certifies that election cannot be held. दीटा केस रे जदि national level रे यानी कि whole country रे emergency अछि, this is one part, one case. Second would be election commission certifies that election cannot be held in this circumstances. की सुप्रीम कोर्ट जजमेंट एसआर बोमाई को आम आउ गोटे केस रे भी देखी आपन मन थो रिगार्डिंग द सेक्युलरिज्म. एसआर बोमाई वर्सेस यूनियन ऑफ इंडिया 1994 sets limits on the arbitrary use of Article 356. Judicial review of the proclamation is allowed. Floor test in assembly is the best method to test by test majority. President rule cannot be imposed for political reasons. तो ये एसआर बोमाई केस रही अच्छी कि एक्चुअली यदि आप देखिए 1950s 60s this is the Article 356 is the article which has been mostly misused अपन कोई परिवे abused कोई परिवे. Okay, तो proclamation of president rule emergency or state emergency also subject to judicial review. जदि judiciary चाहिए ताकू review भी करा जाई परिवो, in fact PIL file करा जाई परिवो, and floor test is mandatory. एवं से मनकर बहुत केस रे कौन हुए प्रेसिडेंट रूल लगा जाए कौन ना सरकार मेजोरिटी रे नहीं तो केमती जान ले गवर्नर के मेजोरिटी नहीं, यू हैव टू फर्स्ट फ्लोर टेस्ट. जदि विदाउट फ्लोर टेस्ट होइछि तबे चैलेंज करा जाई परिबो जुडिशियरी रे. ओके, एंड पॉलिटिकल रीजंस पई करा जाई परिबो नहीं, इंपोज करा जाई परिबो नहीं. नेक्स्ट देखिबा Javelin missile. India seeks US nod for co-production of Javelin missile. India-US cooperation for the co-production of Javelin anti-tank guided missile, potentially making a milestone under the Make in India and Defence Industrial Cooperation frameworks. Co-production of the Javelin anti-tank guided missile of India and US. Co-production talk. Memorandum of Understanding with BDL. Aero India 2025 Javelin joint venture. A Raytheon Lockheed Martin partnership renewed its MOU with the Bharat Dynamics Limited, जो कि India side रू. This revives the 2020 agreement to evaluate manufacturing Javelin ATGMs in India for future defense needs. Okay, तो अगुरु जमते हमें जानी चाहिए we were dependent on other countries. Now, although dependency is there, but we have started the co-production. That means India and US both will produce that, so that it is basically a technology transfer skill. यानी कि गोटे टाइम पर you will find India will alone produce this kind of Javelin missile जोटा अछि. Leaders have confirmed that India's defense sector is being assessed for co-assembly and co-production, aiming for the long-term strategic collaboration and technology transfer. Okay. Official talks on strategic engagement. As per the high-level engagements, US official under the ICET Initiative on Critical and Emerging Technology framework confined that talks with India on co-production of Javelin ATGMs are underway, though still in early stages. And this forms a part of broader framework announced during the India-US leadership meeting in February 2025, which included plans for the co-production both Javelin ATGMs and Striker infantry vehicles as well. Striker infantry vehicles भी co-produce करा जो. Matter यानी कि significance कौन? Significance कोई पर भी strategic autonomy for India. यानी कि India केवल dependent हुए. India will have the self-sufficiency, self-reliance. India will have the technology transfer. India will start producing on its own. Industrial uplift भी ही परिवो. Make in India brand सेठी लगी परिवो. Diplomatic deepening यानी कि co-production represents evolving US-India defense ties, building beyond hardware sales to collaborative industrial and R&D engagements. Okay, so simply India भी defense manufacturing the self reliance achieve करी परिवो. Anyway, Odisha related देखिए Kalinga Ratna award. The Kalinga Ratna Award is an annual honor instituted in 2007 by Sarala Sahitya Sansad to recognize outstanding contributions by Odisha persons at the national and international level. It carries a silver statuette of goddess Saraswati, a copper plate, often a shawl symbolizing honor. ତେଣୁ ବେସିକାଲି 2007ରେ ହିଁ ସାରଳା ସାହିତ୍ୟ ସଂସଦ ଦ୍ୱାରା କଳିଙ୍ଗ ରତ୍ନ ଆୱାର୍ଡ଼ ଇନଷ୍ଟିଚ୍ୟୁଟ୍ କରାଯାଇଥିଲା. ଓକେ, ଡିଗ୍ନିଟାରିଜ୍ ଆକ୍ରସ୍ ଫିଲ୍ଡ କେଉଁ ଫିଲ୍ଡରୁ ଦିଆଯାଉଛି ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ, लिटरेचर हो पारे, साइंस हो पारे, पब्लिक सर्विस हो पारे, हाव बीन रेसिपिएंट्स इंक्लूडिंग नॉवेलिस्ट प्रतिभा राय जे कि 2014 में सम्मान रे सम्मानित कराइथिला. अवार्ड सेरेमनी यूजुअली कोइंसाइड्स विथ द बर्थ एनिवर्सरी ऑफ 15th सेंचुरी पोएट आदिकवि सारला दास. तो आदिकवि सारला दास बर्थ एनिवर्सरी ही एटा को करा जाइथिला. The award recognizes diverse fields not limited to literature. It has been conferred the scientists and politicians alike. It promotes Odia identity, pride, celebrating achievers who elevate the state's global stature. Okay. तो ये कलिंग रत्न अवार्ड क्या दि जाइए, कलिंग रत्न अवार्ड दि जाइए आपंकर धर्मेंद्र प्रधान को, जे यूनियन एजुकेशन मिनिस्टर अच्छा. वाइल्ड डॉग पेयर स्पॉटेड इन देवीगढ़ सेंचुरी. A pair of endangered wild dogs were recently spotted in Debrigarh Wildlife Sanctuary after years of only a lone male being sighted. जहाँ में कहे ढोलेस इंडिया वाइल्ड डॉग प्रोटेक्टेड अंडर Schedule 1 यानी कि एब्सोल्यूट प्रोटेक्शन आम दौचे, जार नंबर इज अराउंड 5000. दे आर नोन एज व्हिस्लर्स ऑफ द वुड, यानी कि जमती डॉग जनरली कौन करती बार्क करते भूकती, इंस्टेड ऑफ बार्किंग से मैंने व्हिसल काइंड ऑफ साउंड आसे जंगल रो व्हिसल बोली कह जाए, व्हिस्लर्स ऑफ द वुड. ग्रासलैंड मैनेजमेंट हैज लेड टू ए हेल्दी प्रे बेस अट्रैक्टिंग मोर प्रेडेटर्स लाइक ढोलेस, लेपर्ड्स, हाइनास एंड ओल्स. कारण खाद्य जदि नथिबो, प्रे जदि नथिबो ना, सो ऑब्वियसली दिस काइंड ऑफ एनिमल्स वुड एक्सटिंक्ट. तो जेहेतु ग्रासलैंड मैनेजमेंट इज बेटर, मोर सच प्रे बेसेस आर इंक्रीजिंग, तेणु एमानंका नंबर्स भी धीरे धीरे बढ़िबार लगी. Camera traps in winter 2023 first captured a lone wild dog, which later expanded its range into tourist zone. Dholes face threats from habitat fragmentation and inbreeding, limiting population growth. World Snake Day, rare two-headed wolf snake in Keonjhar. World Snake Day, Odisha's chief wildlife warden shared an image of a rare two-head wolf snake from Keonjhar. The snake, Lycodon alicus, measured approximately 14 centimeter. Okay, 2 heads, 4 eyes, 2 tongues due to dicephalic birth anomaly. Okay, it had been originally rescued in May 2020, safely released back in the forest. तो वर्ल्ड स्नेक डे आप देखिए 16 जुलाई रे वर्ल्ड स्नेक डे आम सेलिब्रेट करूँ. ओके, वर्ल्ड स्नेक डे. ईच हेड ऑपरेटेड इंडिपेंडेंटली, इवन competing for food, making survival challenging. The snake revived interest in Odisha's reptilian diversity, includes over 70 snake reptiles. Dicephaly is rare and often results in early mortality, yet community rescue aided its survival. Biologist Rakesh Mohalik first documented the snake in Keonjhar Wildlife Sanctuary. Okay, Keonjhar Wildlife Sanctuary रे प्रथम थर ପାଇଁ ଦେଖିବାକୁ ମିଳିଥିଲା two-headed wolf snake. KhetScore and rural bankability. KhetScore is an Odisha-based farm data analytics platform that measures land health, crop performance, climate risk for smallholders. It helps financial institutions assess rural credit risk, enabling bankability of marginal farmland by mapping soil yield insurance claim. It replaces proxy-based lending with the real data. Okay, so basically, KhetScore and rural bankability to increase the credit among the farmer, crop performance, outcome of the loan, ये सब जिनसे गुड़ को मैंने स्टडी करूँ. Fine. The platform supports crop insurance. Okay, the same. Next, वरिष्ठ नागरिक तीर्थ यात्रा योजना, सो इट्स ए स्कीम फॉर द सीनियर सिटीजन पिलग्रिमेज सपोर्ट पाई जो मैंने 60+ सिटीजन्स मैंने अच्छे से ट्रैवल यात्रा करा 2500 पर इंडिविजुअल से दिज्व ओके एंड एसी एसटी ओबीसी ईडब्ल्यूएस कैटेगरी बेसिकली जगन्नाथ टेम्पल कोणार्क अदर अक्रॉस द स्टेट एंड इट इंडिकेट्स विद द कॉमन सर्विस सेंटर फॉर द ऑनलाइन एप्लिकेशंस। MCQs को आंसर करंतु आपण माने फर्स्ट होची कलिंग रत्न अवार्ड आंसर करूँ। It is exclusively awarded to literary figures from Odisha, obviously not public figure या आपनकर सोशल सर्विस पब्लिक सर्विस रे भी अवार्ड दिया जाए तेणु 1 2 3 आपनकर आंसर हम बी ओके केवल लिटरेचर नुहे पब्लिक सर्विस साइंस ये सब रे भी दिया जाए। नेक्स्ट देखिबा बी हम आंसर बी बी वाइल्ड डॉग्स इन देवीगढ़ सेंचुरी कौन करेक्ट हम कहतु। ये जो देवीगढ़ हैज बीन ऑफिशियली नोटिफाइड एज अ टाइगर रिजर्व बर्तमान सुधा ही नहीं हबार अच्छी यानी कि एनटीसी हैज गिवन द अप्रूवल बट ए आई मीन फाइनल अप्रूवल इज पेंडिंग विथ ए पर्टिकुलर कमिटी तेणु अप्रूवल दि जाए ना तो ये आपण भी 1 2 3 आपण कहीपर बी। 2-headed wolf snake जदि आपण देखिए ये आंसर कौन हम ए हम। The snake had 2 fully functioning heads and was 14 centimeter long and the anomaly is called deciphali and survival chances in the wild are low. Okay, so 1 and 3 would be the answer. KhetScore aids rural bankability केमती करे KhetScore ये आप देखिए डेवलपिंग एग्रीकल्चर कमोडिटी सप्लाई चेन इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर सप्लाई चेन इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर रिलेटेड तार कौन काम ना तार केवल कम हो डेटा कलेक्ट करवा रिगार्डिंग फाइनेंसिंग क्रेडिट आउटकम ये सब जिनस को लेकिन इंश्योरेंस ये सब जिनस काइंड ऑफ ए फाइनेंशियल सहित से डील करुँच तेणु आप 1 2 3 बी कहीपर आंसर। वरिष्ठ नागरिक तीर्थयात्रा योजना जो देखिए ये आपंकर कवर्स फॉरेन पिलग्रिमेज टू बुद्धिस्ट साइट ओबियसली नो फॉरेस्ट पिलग्रिमेज ये ना केवल अच्छी आपंकर ऑफर्स क्रेडिट कैश रिइंबर्समेंट ओडिशा सीनियर एज 60+ एंड कॉमन सर्विस सेंटर अगेन दिस इज 1 to 4 सी ओके फाइन। जो मैंने भी आम सहित सिविल सर्विस प्रिपरेशन करने को चाहूँगी प्रिलिम्स मेन्स इंटरव्यू बैच आमर जॉइन करेंगे एंड बैच इज इन इंग्लिश एंड हिंदी इट्स आरंभ 6.0 बैच के स्टार्ट हो देखो 21 जुलाई एंड ये आप लाइव क्लासेस रहित आपंकर लाइव क्लासेस अच्छी रिकॉर्डेड आपको अनलिमिटेड मिल जाव जब आप मिस करूँ। मेंटरशिप सपोर्ट अच्छी रेगुलर टेस्ट अच्छी असेसमेंट करने सहित आपको 12+ टेस्ट सीरीज आपको फ्री मिलूँ यदि फर्स्ट अटेम्प्ट आप प्रिलिम्स क्लीयर कले आपको कंप्लीट फी रिफंड कर दिया एवं कोड यूज करेंगे JN लाइफ जहाँ थ्रू आपको मैक्सिमम डिस्काउंट मिल JN लाइफ यहाँ भी सेमती परिपूर्ण बैच अच्छी यहाँ हूँ इंग्लिश एंड ओडिया ये भी सही JN लाइफ कोड को यूज करेंगे डिस्काउंट पाइबापी बैच जस्ट स्टार्टेड सेम जिनस ये 23+ टेस्ट सीरीज अच्छी से आपंकर 12टी टेस्ट थिला दुईटी जाक बैच रे आपण फर्स्ट अटेम्प्ट रे ही यदि प्रिलिम्स क्लीयर करेंगे आपको कंप्लीट फी रिफंड मिल जाव। ओके टेलीग्राम रे आपको मिल जाव PDF फेसबुक इंस्टा मत आप फॉलो करेंगे आपंकर क्वेरी जहाँ भी अच्छे आप पचारि पारे। सॉरी मेन्स क्वेश्चन आज ना ओके सॉरी आई एम एक्सट्रीमली सॉरी ठीक अच्छे मुझे ग्रुप रे ही पोस्ट करनेबी या आपको डॉक्यूमेंट रे ही ऐड करके डॉक्यूमेंट देदेवी ओके डॉक्यूमेंट रे ही ऐड करके देदेवी मेन्स क्वेश्चन थैंक यू डॉक्यूमेंट रे ऐड करके देदेवी मेन्स क्वेश्चन। पीडीएफ रे ही मु मेन्स रे क्वेश्चन ऐड करके दे देबी ओके फाइन थैंक यू।